Hi, today I'm gonna talk about the Elite strap, and basically I'm gonna introduce a little bit myself because that's pretty much the first and pretty much organized video that I'm making on the YouTube. So I don't know, wish yourself luck. And no, I'm not behind this curtain. So what are we here? We're here because of this sponge. This little guy, for about a whole month, had made my life, my VR life, pretty much easier than without this little guy. Basically, if you're about to buy or buying an elite strap or some kind of strap, you should try this before you actually buy or while you're waiting, because it's really fast and easy to and cheap to make. It's basically a sponge. Uh, as you can see, it's basically the same size of my hand, except no, the fingers and all. The fingers, but it's not too big. I don't know. I mean, look at these. You all know how big the strap here in the middle. So it's basically like two or three those, three tops four. It's basically not something big. You have this kitchen sponges that you wash dishes with. Put those two together. This is about the size. Just after you put them together, just cut them in one square, and it's gonna be the same size as this. So it's basically easy to cheap, easy to make, cheap to make. You basically need a little rope to put it together, and if you think here in the area it's gonna bother you from changing the to stretch it or make the belt shorter or change the size, it's not. It's well, first of all, having this sponge going between my head and the head strap, and the belt here, I had to open it, and when I put it back in my head until I got the right size for my head and all this tweaking back and forth, I had no problem to either pull it all those two plastics together or pull it apart. It's not gonna bother, and if something's gonna tear, it's gonna tear the sponge. The sponge is actually easy to tear in compared to those belts, so it's basically gonna be an easier for you. And I know it's a tutorial, but there's there isn't much details to go on. I mean, it's basically a sponge, and it's pretty straightforward how to strap it in. You basically need it just to be held on your head, and it's not supposed to be attached so hard with adhesive so you could pull it off the of this belt. So you basically don't need too much. Just don't make the ropes too thin, because they're gonna cut through the sponge. Like I told you, the sponge is easy. So if you're gonna ruin something, you're gonna ruin the sponge and a little bit of rope. That's the worst case scenario, like if you're gonna try this. But apart from that, I'm obviously I'm an VR enthusiast, and besides from that, I'm gonna work on the sponge 2.0, because I don't want to brag about it on, or I don't know, take too much credit, but I using that and having plans going forward, or make it smaller or more comfortable, or what I really want to do is to make it look sleek. Like I like its function now, but I don't like the way it looks like. It's quite kind of lame, It's not something I personally be embarrassed with, but it's kind of lame. So I am going to move forward with this sort of a project and design it better, you know, just make it look better and make it absolutely 100% as comfortable as possible and minimalistic as possible. So basically, maybe in a month or a week, you're gonna see the same headset, but a much prettier sponge, but it's also gonna be more effective. I hope so. And instead of seeing one giant sponge, you may be gonna see a sponge that's strapped only, that holds only on the sides or something, or somewhere else that's gonna be efficient to holding your device and not pressing on your head too much. So it's gonna be, so I'm gonna try to make it as look as better as it could, as it can, be efficient as it can in terms of size. Like the size, like it maybe doesn't look bad, but it I'm pretty sure it could be much smaller. So those one of the things I'm gonna work on, because I'm pretty sure there are many ways that I can put little pieces of sponge on here and there and get the same, basically get the same thing. I mean, you don't really need much to create a space, a little space between those. So for example, if I had, for example, let's say 4 pieces of sponge instead of one big, they're still gonna do the same job. They're just gonna be located in different place as long as they're covering basically the same area. So it's not gonna be much matter if I put one big sponge over here that's gonna be a little wider than the belt, and one sponge over here that's going to be a little wider than a belt, and one over here. It's basically going to cover the same space. For example, here it's not going to be in here. Nothing going to be in here. This area is not as efficient as you think. It's not much efficiency here. It's probably sticks out of my head. Those parts. So basically, yeah, I'm gonna make it shorter, like less material, less brain damage while making. I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible, and of course, I'm gonna make it slick. I mean, even if that's gonna be the last thing I done, like anything else is not gonna work, I'm still gonna release a video where I find an easy option or cheap option to put it in a nice package with a comfortable grip, which is very important because you have your hair on here and you don't want to have your hair pulled with another material. For example, if I'll coat this part with rubber, it's gonna give you a lot of pain. It's gonna pull on your hair. So the coating is another thing to work on. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be much simple than I think, but it's not as simple as putting the sponge on the device. It's a little more complicated than that, because you know people have different hair, different long, different types. Some have dry hair, some have a little more fat on their skin and a little more fat on their hair. So this, like for a sponge, for my fatty hair, the sponge is really works. I mean, there's no, I I don't want to buy. I don't have, even if I had the money and I have a person that stands in front of me with the elite strap and sells me a new one in the price of 25% from the original price, and I just happen to found the exact same amount of money on the street, and I could afford just out of the blue, I won't buy it because I'm pretty much happy with that. I don't know how good that is in comparing to the elite strap, because I not only I don't have it, I never even held one in my hands. So basically I cannot comment on that. So, well, yeah, subscribe to the channel or something, whatever the people say. And besides of that, at least I'm gonna try, you know. I I'm also a gamer. I'm sort of a guitarist, and I'm planning to do a lot of stuff on YouTube with videos. It's something I really wanted to do, especially because of the games, especially because of this VR that we're getting into now. This is something really, you know, revolutionary in the gaming world. So there's a lot of new things in VR that you can try, and a lot of new things that I personally experience in VR, and I'm pretty much set to do something about it in videos because, well, in VR you can have a lot of fun, and what's more fun is to share this fun. Same way I'm share here. It's very simple solution, and you know how much that cost me? Nothing. I simply had this bunch of big piece of sponge that I cut it in this size. I had this rope somewhere. I just took a needle and I just stitched it in. It doesn't go through the belt. I hope it sees clearly. It doesn't go through the belt, so I do not damage, I do not touch the belt itself, I'll only go around it. So I don't know what else to tell. Well, it's basically tutorial plus introduction. So welcome to the channel that's going to be about everything and nothing at the same time, because I don't know, I don't like this boundaries to have one channel that basically says something, one specific, like I don't know, I don't want to have one channel that shows you stuff about the games and the other channel for life hacks. This is gonna be one channel for everything I put in. What I put in, there's no way to tell what I put in. I don't know what I'm gonna put in. There's it could be unrelated to computers, it could be unrelated to VR, it could be unrelated to games. I basically modify my bike, my electric bike, from time to time, and I have like some sort of life hacks over there. So basically I'm gonna upload soon one or two videos I have about electric bike hacks, and there's no, you know, if you put the head strap in on your head and you look in the game and you look at the sky, you know that the sky there has no limit. Well, in virtual reality, it's much more limitless than in reality, because you know there's a sun upstairs. All right, people. See ya.